What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Thieves pack. Thieves makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Thieves Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Thieves Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Thieves Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Thieves Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Thieves pack. Feel the Thieves, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with us. Welcome to the Millionaire Morning Show. It is Wednesday, November 15th, 2023, year of our Lord. And it is going to be a phenomenal show as usual. I just want to say I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you get that Thieves Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. That link is in the description. Again, Thieves Hanley 30% off your first order plus free gift. That link is in the description. Ladies, make sure you get that for the fellas. Fellas, don't wait for your ladies to go and get it for you. We are live streaming tonight on the Anton Daniels channel as usual because we make sure that we never miss. So shout out to all of you guys. Shout out to all of my people that's in the building. Let me get a mental health check. Where y'all at today? Mental health check. One word in the chat. Let me know where y'all at today. Mental health check. Y'all good? Y'all bad? Ugly in between? How you feeling on the inside? What up, Messy? What up, Messy in the building? Mr. Lotta's in the building. All of my people is supporting the platform. Definitely going to be getting to the super chat shortly. Let me know how y'all feel. What's happening? I see my people over in Cincinnati. Y'all said y'all on the road right now. Okay, I see you. Anton, appreciate what you do for black folks worldwide. I do it for us all. Unmotivated. Alexa, I'm going to fix that today. I guarantee you. Queen V said happy, blessed as gamer girl, blessed, focused, refreshed, peaceful, great, flustered, tired, great, splendid, stoic, determined, motivated, pessimistic, happy, getting it, prepared, lost, still standing. All right, you got another opportunity. Motivated, fortunate, ATL, pushed, growing. You good, mind, body, and soul TV? Mark it up. Groovy, blessed, inspired from yesterday's video. Okay. Happy and breathing, aware, energized, busy, blessed, gleeful, overconfident. It's your birthday. Hey, let me give a round of applause for CJ. It's their birthday. Regenerated, benevolent, stayed, stressed. Stress, love, C? Not you. Trucking, mentally wealthy. Moving, I want you to be physically wealthy too. Shout out from Bobby Storm from Detroit. Hold on, wait. Shout out to Bobby Storm from Detroit. Shout out to you. Baltimore, stay safe. Wonderful. This is not a donation, said Black Cobra. Thankful for the show. Motivated, road running. And then I got my people in the building, true to myself, messy mathematician, Antonio Watkins, and the like. What up, friends and family? Y'all ready to get started with the show? It's hump day. It's Wednesday, yo. I just got out of a meeting. And I did presentation number two of two, and it went great. It went great. Corporate America, I'm so good at corporate America. I ain't even, listen. When you wake up in the morning, I want you guys to be thankful, because before anything, you have to understand the fact that you woke up this morning and you have breath in your body and you in your right mind and you have all of your limbs and you got another opportunity to do great things, man. I wake up in the morning re-energized. And that's one of the reasons why I like doing this show in the morning, is because it gives me an opportunity to be able to pour into you before the world starts to beat you up. Because the world is coming for you and it is going to beat you up. But the morning show hopefully gets you through your day. It gives you a bit of entertainment, education, and then motivation to go out and slay these dragons every single day. Now, you get a special treat on Mondays and Wednesdays because we back to back. And then I get to pour into y'all twice a day. So I get to pour into you in the morning and then in the nighttime. And then throughout the week, I make sure that I segment my time out so that I can re-energize, refresh, and then stay renewed so that I can continue to pour into you guys. But if you got breath in your body, thank God. Thank God, because it's a lot of people that did not wake up today. There is a lot of people, a whole lot of people all across the world that did not wake up today. And a lot of times we take it for granted. And so the first thing that we got to do is we got to give praise to the Most High. The second thing that we have to do is make sure that we taking advantage of it and we not wasting a minute, because every minute is precious. That's why they call it the present. And then the third thing that we have to do is make sure that we hit it and we don't get taken down. We don't get discouraged. And it's okay to go through things, because that's what life is. I think that life is about suffering, but it's to suffer to get to something, not just suffer for the sake of suffering. So, if you woke up this morning, and I hit it on Twitter, formerly known as Twitter X, and on Threads, and I was telling people, I said, man, if you got breath in your body and you woke up this morning, you got another opportunity to be able to get out there and kill it. And I'm going to have a conversation with y'all today, because I want to go over a couple of different things. We got a long show. Obviously, we got to tap into Chicago, the migrant crisis. I want to talk about cash. Also want to talk a little bit about getting fired from corporate America and all of that, because there is a video that somebody sent me that we want to go over. So we're going to get there. We definitely going to get there. But I want y'all to know that when I get on this live stream in the morning, I'm motivated. I have days just like everybody else, but I'm motivated. And one of the reasons that I'm motivated is because you're my accountability partner. I know I got to get up on this live stream every day, Monday through Friday, and add value into your life. And so if I have to do that, then that holds me self-accountable, because I know I got to come before you, because I live my life like an open book. I have to come before you and then give you the game, but I can't give you the game unless I'm a reflection of it. So we got the Invest in Your Business series, end of the month specifically. Let me go ahead and give you a date, because I got to drop the actual flyer inside of the Patreon. If you're not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me look at my calendar. I'm going to tell you the exact date that we're going to do where you can pitch your business to me inside of the Patreon. So we're going to do that. Let's do it Sunday the 26th. Sunday the 26th, because all that next week, 27th, is the Washington Wizards is going to be playing at the Pistons at Little Caesars Arena. Lakers is on Wednesday. Cavs is on that Saturday. So let's do it Sunday the 26th. If you are not a bag chaser, if you are not a Patreon member, do not come to me talking about, Anton, how can I pitch my business? I separate myself from the world in order to make sure that I add as much value to my tribe. So the people that's a part of what we doing, that's what I'm going to spend the majority of my time on. And then the rest of the world, you're invited to join a group of people that's going in the direction that you're going in. If you are not a part of the Patreon, if you are not a part of the Bag Chasers, the best day to join is today. All right? The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We're doing an Invest in Your Business series where you guys can pitch me your businesses. I've allocated roughly 20,000, maybe a little bit more, somewhere between 20 and 30,000 And I want to give $1,000 and $2,000 grants to people in order to make sure that I get their businesses off the ground, or to vet whether or not it's a good business idea in the first place. And I want to do so before Christmas. So we're going to do it on the 26th. I'm going to sort through everything that upcoming week. And then literally the beginning of December, I'm going to send you guys your checks, your wires, your cash apps, whatever it is I got to send it to you by. I'm going to make sure that everybody get their money to make sure that they can get their businesses off the ground, or at least vet their business idea out successfully. And then you can go forth from there. All right. So again, the 26th, you'll get a specific time inside of the Patreon when I drop the flyer. Sunday, the 26th of November, we are going to do the pitch for investing your business. And if you guys, I did see that headlock, Yakar, I did, on Rudy Gobert. If you guys want to participate in that, or if you just want to observe so you can get ready for next year, you are more than welcome to do so. Again, that is going to be in the Patreon. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. All right. Let me read a couple of these super chats and cash apps. First, I want to give an acknowledgement to Sean Cook. He says, thank you for the Millionaire Morning Show. That's on Cash App. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate you. Yvette Marie, my long-term girl, says, for love and support, big bro. Shout out to Yvette. I appreciate you, baby girl. And then last but not least, but certainly not least, let me give a round of applause to my dog, true to myself, Mike that dude. Mike that dude. I appreciate you, big dog. Let me acknowledge a few more people before we get started with the show. Sponsored by T. Henley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. My dog, Mr. Lot. Shout out to Mr. Lot, says, got to give you your flowers, bro. Life has thrown haymakers my way in the last couple of weeks. All of your messages have been literally right on time. Shout out to the Chasers. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Lot. I'm always going to make sure. Oh, man, I'm having trouble opening this. I'm always going to make sure that I got your back, big dog. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to hold me down. It does not go unnoticed, and it is not unappreciated. I do not ask for cash apps or super chats, but if you find it in your heart that I added value into your life and you want to do so, I'm definitely going to acknowledge it. So thank you to my dog. Messy's in the building, says, what up, though, Bag Chasers? Best channel on the tube. I agree with you, Messy. Thank you for holding me down, baby. And I hope you enjoyed your birthday the other day, too. Black Cobra says, this is not a donation. Shout out to my dog, Black Cobra, in the building. And then Eric Harris is in the building. He says, AD, please write a book. I don't know. Should I write a book? What would it be called? Oh, Kojak already know he my guy. Kojak been riding with me since high school. Kojak actually knows who I am in real life. Me and Kojak went to high school together. Kojak is like 6'9" though. I ain't even gonna front. Kojak is literally a walking giant in real life. The dude is like 6'7", 6'9". I kid you not. No cap. No exaggeration. If I'm off, it can't be off by much. But Kojak is literally, in real life, a walking NBA player. But he's smart, and he's an architect. And he went to one of the best schools inside of Michigan. And he's intellectual, and he's intelligent, and he's a really, really good guy, and I rock with him. Shout out to Kojak. Hey, Yakar, you got jokes about the Weeble, huh? Yeah. Shout out to my dog, Kojak. Let me give a couple more highlights. What would I write a book about? Shout out to Eric Harris. I appreciate you. KC says, just showing appreciation. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, big dog. I've been rewatching how to monetize on YouTube since I'm almost at 1,000 subs. Shout out to Pat Gigattainment in the building. I appreciate you, KC. Highly Offensive says, thank you, AD, for the positive vibes. As usual, thank you for contributing into the platform. Jamal Fowler says, peace, love, and hair grease in the building. All right, so y'all ready to get started with the show? Again, make sure that you hit a like for the algorithm. I appreciate it if you find it in your heart to subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. Make sure that you share this with your family and friends. And let's go ahead and get started with the show. So this part of the show is called Quick Hits. This part of the show is called Quick Hits. And Quick Hits is where we go over different segments of what's happening in society, but it may not necessarily warrant an entire segment dedicated to it. All right. So let's go ahead and get started with it. This Quick Hits, we're going to start with the Tesla Cybertruck. Now, I've been waiting for the Cybertruck for a long time, right? And we know that Tesla is notorious for announcing something and then they drop it maybe 2 to 3 years after they said that they were going to drop it. So when I sent my deposit in in order to get my placement order for the Tesla truck, I already understood that it was probably going to be about 5 years before I got it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hedge Mastermind. Yo, yo, yo. What up, what up, what up? But Tesla, in anticipation of the launch this month, later on this month of the Cybertruck, specifically, might have even been this week, or was it early next week? I think it's going to be a great vehicle. I can't wait to stun on y'all in my Cybertruck. It is one of my grail vehicles that I plan on owning. So this was my goal. For every home that I build, that I develop, I'm going to buy myself a car. And I'm going to buy myself a dream car. I'm going to buy myself a Cybertruck. Obviously, you guys already know I got 2 Lamborghinis on order. The Aventador replacement and hopefully a Huracan replacement. I plan on getting a GTR. I plan on getting a Ford GT. Both of them, both the old one and the new one. So we got a lot of cars that we want to get. So we got a lot of homes that we need to be building. You know what I'm saying? But the Cybertruck is on order, and Elon Musk is largely saying that he wants to tack on a $50,000 reseller's fee if you sell the truck within the first year. Let me bring y'all up to speed on what's happening out here in these streets. I'm going to go to 208.
Getting into the latest Tesla news, including the huge caveat with a Cybertruck purchase, Tesla partnering with more oil companies, the latest which makes a lot of sense for the rear-wheel drive model in particular. There were 28,252 sold, but the Model Y holds third place with 11,149 sales. Now that Tesla has introduced a rear-wheel drive standard range Model Y starting at $43,990 in the US, I imagine we could see these numbers change this coming year, with the Model Y taking second or even first place. It's a very useful fleet car. Next up today, some big news for the Cybertruck. We'll get into the latest sightings and more in a minute, but Tesla's purchase agreement for the Cybertruck has been released, and it has one particularly important clause. For some, it could cause them to skip Cybertruck delivery, at least for a while. Whenever a new exciting vehicle launches, there is a flurry of demand for it. As such, this leads to early adopters who got in early on their order and delivery to flip their cars for profit. We see this all the time with vehicles like the Hummer EV going for insane prices at launch, but it always happens with Teslas too. Any new car is going to take time to scale, but a new vehicle from Tesla is usually a very new product. It's exciting to the whole market, and people can't wait to get their hands on it. In 2017, a used Model 3 was listed for $150,000, so we can only imagine what a used Cybertruck may go for early on. The Cybertruck is one of the most anticipated vehicles ever, and its intense polarization has only led to an increase in interest for it. For some, this means that in the first months of its release, they will pay whatever they can to get their hands on this truck. As such, plenty of people got in early with multiple Cybertruck orders and plan to flip them for a profit. The Peterson Museum just auctioned an early Cybertruck VIN for $400,000, so this seems like it could be a great opportunity. Here's the thing though, if this is your plan, you better skip that Cybertruck order or you'll get sued. Tesla is ready to stop anyone from selling a Cybertruck within its first year, and if you need to sell it, they have say over how that is handled. Quote, for Cybertruck only, you understand and acknowledge that the Cybertruck will first be released in limited quantity. You agree that you will not sell or otherwise attempt to sell the vehicle within the first year following your vehicle's delivery date. Notwithstanding the foregoing, if you must sell the vehicle within the first year following its delivery date for any unforeseen reason, and Tesla agrees that your reason warrants an exception to its no reseller policy, you agree to notify Tesla in writing and give Tesla reasonable time to purchase the vehicle from you at its sole discretion and at the purchase price listed on your final price sheet, less 25 cents per mile driven, reasonable wear and tear, and the cost to repair the vehicle to Tesla's used vehicle cosmetics and mechanical standards. If Tesla declines there, you can resell to a third party after receiving written consent from Tesla.
So, ideally, Tesla is implementing, or they announced initially that they were implementing a no resale clause. And so this actually happens with a lot of vehicles that are in high demand and early limited quantity. The most recent vehicle that I've seen this happen to was the Ford GT. So when Ford selected you to be able to purchase a Ford GT, which is a spectacular car, it's one of the most phenomenally built cars that I've ever seen in my life. They went through a process where if you were selected to be able to purchase this vehicle, because the resale market was going to be out of control as a result of it, then you had to sign a clause that you would not resell the car within, I believe it was the first year of getting it, right? And I'm going to go over that, Chance. Give me a second. And so for a lot of vehicles, this was the case depending on what the manufacturer wanted to create for that vehicle. And so even in these instances, depending on what type of car you wind up purchasing, a vehicle can be an appreciating asset. A mass-produced, less viable product is not necessarily appreciating asset. I actually have a couple of cars in my collection that is appreciating way more than what the original purchase price was, or is worth more than what I purchased it for, right? Anything can be an asset. Very few things can be an appreciating asset. And the value of it is based off of the demand. And Tesla already knows that there's going to be a lot of flippers, basically the people looking to profit off of the vehicle very early in the process of them starting to manufacturing this vehicle, because the demand is so high that they were making this available to the general public, right? They were saying that if you sold the vehicle within the first year outside of reasonable reasoning, then you would have to pay a $50,000 fee. Well, now, recently, shortly thereafter, right, less than 2 days afterwards, Tesla seems to have removed the controversial clause from its Cybertruck purchase agreement. It apparently won't sue Cybertruck buyers for reselling the vehicle within the first year of buying it. Its newly updated purchase agreement, which had included the controversial clause, as of last week, has been removed, according to Electric, which first spotted the change. The previous version of the agreement stated that Tesla may seek injunction relief to prevent transfer of title of the vehicle if the buyer breached the resale provision. So ideally, yes, a celebrity did get sued for their Ford GT. Ideally, what happens is they're trying to prevent people from price gouging, jumping out of line, and then profiting off of the possibility that people want the vehicle so bad that they're willing to pay an exorbitant amount for the vehicle as a result of it. It pays to be first, baby. It pays to be first. So that is what's going on with Tesla. Apparently, it seems as though they've went away from the clause, but we're going to see what happened. In addition to that, GM, let me show y'all what's going on over at GM, ladies and gentlemen.
The UAW strike against Detroit's Big Three ended about 2.5 weeks ago, but this morning there may be a bump in the road to ratification.
The tentative deals may not have as much rank-and-file support as many expected.
So take a look at the latest numbers from the ratification tracker. The Stellantis and Ford deals seem to have a hefty lead for approval so far, but GM is cutting it closer at this point with the margin of 52% yes votes to 48% no votes.
Well, 7 Action News reporter Faraz Javed is at the UAW Solidarity House this morning. And Faraz, why are some GM workers appearing to push back on this deal?
Yeah, Keenan, good morning. So simply put, they feel it falls short. Right now, out of the 3 agreements, General Motors is the only one where union members are giving a lot of pushback. As you said earlier, it's still a tight race with 52% of GM auto workers voting yes, and the remaining 48% feel the tentative agreement needs to head back to the negotiating table.
We're just tired of not being recognized, and it throw pennies at us and that'll be it. And we accept whatever. But this time I don't feel like we should, and I don't think we are.
So here's my question. Because I believe that the automakers got hosed. And the automakers felt like they got hosed. And so basically in the tentative agreement, you get COLA, which is cost of living adjustments. They did away with the 2-tiered system and created a pathway for currently 2nd-tier employees that make less than the hired employees to have a pathway to employment with the automaker, and that they are now going to be basically making the same amount as their counterparts, which the 2-tier system was created in order for the automakers to be able to survive back in the 2008 crisis during the Obama administration. They getting a 25% raise over the lifetime of the contract. They also gave in to the concessions as far as the ability to be able to strike and then unionize over at the electric vehicle plants that they're partnering with Panasonic and things like that. And Richard Fain largely became famous, so famous that he had to testify before Congress, and I'm going to probably bring that up probably tomorrow. He had to testify about unions, considering that he's making a push and his celebrity, and I told you he was going to become a celebrity as a result of this, but the union members over at GM and even some at Ford plants rejected these contracts, and they're basically saying that it's not enough. It's not enough. They were not happy with it. And the automakers was standing on a square and they felt like they got hosed by it. Ford Motor Company is offering buyouts to a lot of employees, including white-collar workers. Stellantis is trying to pare down their U.S. workforce, its salaried staff, by over 6,400 people. They're offering buyouts also. What more do you want? If this was not a slap in the face and a kick in the back for Sean Fain and their union membership with all of the advertising that they did, and now it's only a 52%, as the votes come in, it's a 52% yes, 48% no. What do you think is going to happen once all of the votes come in? And more importantly, if they reject it, what more do they want? So that's what's happening on the GM front. And then there's a new company called Humane. And Humane, the designers of this new device were former designers of the iPhone and designers over at Apple. Okay, former designers of the iPhone and designers over at Apple, and they played a huge role in what it is that we're using from a device perspective today. And it's funny because last night I was at the game, and if you watched the video that I dropped on the Anton Daniels channel, I took these with me, right? Now, these are the Meta Ray-Ban glasses, and it's actually charged. So if you look at the green thing right here, that's when it's charging. And if you bring them out, right, these are the glasses. So these are much different than the Google Glass, which I actually tested very early in my YouTube journey. These are much different than the Google Glass, and these look like regular glasses. But if you turn them around, there's a green... there's an indicator right here. And then on the front, they look like regular glasses, but it's a camera right here and it's a light right here. So if I was to take my glasses off right now and I put these on, I can hear stuff. I can talk on the phone. It's very, very clear. It's incredible what they were able to do with these glasses. I could take a picture. So if I take a picture like that, it took a picture. I could record for the next minute. And so if you notice, see that right there? It's recording, right? The light indicator is showing that it's recording. Now, I went live with these glasses at the Pistons game yesterday. And so I was on Instagram Live, and it's crazy. So it's actually recording right now. The glasses is recording what I'm seeing. And if I want to go live on Instagram, you can see what I see. And they have great stabilization, and Meta, Facebook, basically did an incredible job with these glasses, an incredible job. And then also I use, during my work process, a lot of, I use the Meta Quest 3. So until Apple drops its Vision Pro, and I'll probably use both, I use a Meta Quest 3. Rita has the Meta Quest 2. Leslie has the Meta Quest 2, and they have that at the home. But I use virtual reality, and I use a combination of different applications, including the gaming experience. So basically, if it's a game that I want to watch, then I can go into the VR app and I can make sure that I'm watching the game basically courtside, and I'm seeing exactly in real time what the basketball players is doing, but I'm also being able to see everything that's around me, right? So I use a lot of technology, and I'm testing a lot of technology in order to make sure that I'm at the forefront of innovation, and I can add as much value, and I can see the opportunities that come along with it. But this is a new video that I want to show you that basically breaks down what the Humane experience is. And I'll probably get it, but it's about $700. But I want to show you exactly what this is, guys.
Isn't life about what we experience? What we smell?
Can I eat this?
Yes, dragon fruits are low in sugar.
What we hear?
Hey, what should I get here?
我在这里该点什么呢?
What we see?
Oh. Capture this.
And what we feel? What if we build more memories?
What are some fun things to do nearby?
Share more moments.
Should I play songs from the last time we were here?
What would happen if we rediscover our senses? What if devices weren't the experience?
Catch me up.
Lucy called and your flight is at 7 a.m.
Tell Lucy I'm on my way.
What if life was?
So, the idea behind this innovation is that you're basically removing the need for being able to have a screen or a device held onto you in order for you to really be able to experience life. And so they're trying to move the technological culture forward, and that you can detach from having to be on your phone or looking at your phone all the time. And this is available for sale now, I believe, but you can detach in order to make sure that you're present in the moment while still having the experiences or the AI experiences or the capabilities based off of the new technological advancements that we have in society today to be able to stay attached to some of the capabilities that your device have today. So I can see already in some spaces where this could be a good experience. For example, when you go overseas or when you go out of town, or now that we have a whole lot of migrants coming into the country and you want to be able to translate in real time what somebody is saying, I can see this being an opportunity. When you want to stay immersed in something or you want to stay connected, but you don't necessarily want to have any device that's on you or be looking at your phone all the time, I can see where this would be a good opportunity. So I'm going to keep my eye on it. Right now, I believe they're selling it somewhere between $600 and $700. Company is opening up about its high-tech device designed to be fastened to a shirt or a blouse, a fit that Humane hopes can become as accepted as people who are sworn officers to sporting wireless earbuds or watches. So this is another opportunity for you to be connected while being disconnected, living in the moment, but still having the technological advances that come along with a phone, all right? So those are your quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to go ahead and get started with the show, all right? So the first thing that I want to go into, and I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. The first thing that I want to go into is that Carjackings is up in Chicago. Carjackings seem to be up in Chicago. Let me bring you up to speed of what's happening in the city.
Now to a breaking story along Chicago's Mag Mile.
A woman's recovering after being attacked in broad daylight on Michigan Avenue. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza live for us on the Mag Mile with what we know so far. Sabrina.
Marie, this happened just about 24 hours ago at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A woman was standing here right along Michigan Avenue when someone threw something with enough force to hit her in the head and send her to the hospital in critical condition.
Yes, we have them in custody.
The person that did this is now in custody. This corner of Michigan Avenue at Michigan and Ontario is often busy during that time of day, especially as we approach the holiday shopping season. It's because of that, in part, that a Chicago police officer is almost always stationed outside the Burberry store here on Michigan. At 2:10 yesterday afternoon, the attack was so quick that the people working for the Salvation Army during this holiday season across the street told us they didn't even notice what had happened. A man threw an object, we believe either a stick or a brick, at that woman, hitting her in the head. She was taken to Northwestern Memorial Hospital just around the corner, again in critical condition. We are still working to confirm more details about this developing story. Police say, again, that person is in custody, but no charges at this time. They say those charges are still pending. For now.
Now, here's the thing. The Miracle Mile, or the Mag Mile over in Chicago, is a tourist destination, meaning that this is the space where if you're coming from out of town and you're not necessarily trying to be on the south side, right? Or you able to dodge all of the migrants that's sleeping inside of the airport, or you just so happen to not end up in a tent city, right? This is the space in Chicago that is at the forefront of what tourism in Chicago is supposed to be. Now, 2 p.m. in the daylight, they made this chick the new brick lady. 2 p.m. in the daylight, they hit her with the brick, and they haven't even formally charged whomever it is. And you notice, have you noticed? I just want you to pay attention to something really quickly because we going somewhere with this. Have you noticed that they never identify the subject anymore because it's not PC or socially acceptable for you to identify exactly what the assailant looks like. They just released the picture because describing is no longer socially accepted, or you're going to be labeled as biased or racist. Have you noticed that? You're now going to be attacked when you identify or showcase exactly who it was that threw the brick and knocked this chick out or knocked this person out on the street at 2 p.m. in the daytime. And it was so fast, according to the witnesses, that the people that was ringing the bell for the Salvation Army, they didn't even have time to know what was happening. They thought it was a prank, and that was something to TikTok, right? You can no longer, but we know, you can no longer identify who the assailant is because it's going to feed into our cultural norms that we don't want to accept as true. But on the flip side of that, on the other side of town, while somebody was throwing a brick at somebody, or they was planning to at least, it was something else that was going on the north side of Chicago.
Tanya and Terrell, apparently they are boxing people in. Detectives are working to track down the suspects. In one case, a woman was beaten and robbed. The first incident happened just after 11 o'clock last night in the 4400 block of North Lincoln Avenue. Police say a black and silver sedan approached a man who was driving his car and then boxed him in. 4 to 6 people exited with handguns and forced the man out of his car. 2 of the gunmen then got into the victim's car and took off. The victim wasn't hurt. Then, about 20 minutes later, at around 11:30, another similar incident unfolded in the 900 block of West Grace in the Lakeview neighborhood. Police say a 29-year-old man was driving when he got boxed in by 2 cars. Several people confronted him at gunpoint, then took his vehicle. The victim was not hurt. And in the third incident, it took place about 8 minutes later in the 3500 block of North Clark Street near Wrigley Field. Police say a 25-year-old woman was parking her car when she was boxed in by 2 cars. She was forced to get out by multiple people with guns who took her vehicle. Police say a female passenger was beaten and robbed, but she is expected to be okay. Now back here live, Area 3 detectives are investigating. Meanwhile, police have not said yet if all 3 incidents are linked.
Now, let's stop here for a moment and let's revisit the conversation. Do you remember, some of you may have been here, some may not, but do you remember when people, because I make my show available for people to be able to come up and express their thoughts on Fridays, do you remember when people come up on the platform and they say, Anton, it's not that bad on the north side. It's not that bad on the north side of Chicago, or the south side ain't that bad, or, oh man, that's just in that one particular area where they beat up that man in the alley for his pizza and knocked him out, or, oh man, that was just that one part of the city where they killed that police officer and everybody got away with it and don't nobody know what's going on, or it was just over there on the Mag Mile that they just decided to hit somebody in the head with a brick on that particular time. Now, listen, it's not even walking down the street. It's not where you live. It's happening all over the city. They are not wasting time. They are pulling up, boxing you in, boxing your face in, beating your girl up. Have you noticed that a lot of these instances are happening also with women? Ladies, please tell me how protected you are. Please tell me that it's safe for you to be out here on your own. Please tell me how independent you are, that Beyonce made you sing even though she's married and she in the house when she's not on tour. Please help me to understand and break down for me how this makes sense for you and how this is going to benefit you. You gonna protest? You gonna go to your alderman? Huh? Wait a minute, you gonna go and talk to Brandon Johnson? He preoccupied. He trying to solve for where the pastors is gonna be as far as making sure that they're sheltering all of the migrants that's coming into the city. They boxing you in. They boxing your face, and then they taking your box truck and they running it up. That's a fact. This is all within a 24-hour time span that the news is on the scene to be able to report for it. Let's continue to see what's happening. We're going to have it broken down from another person's perspective.
Investigating 3 armed carjackings on the city's north side. CBS 2's Mugo Adigwe joins us live from the newsroom right now, piecing together what we know right now. So, I mean, I guess a major question is any connection here.
Well, right now, police are not connecting the carjackings, but
they all had the same pattern, that several suspects in 2 separate cars boxing in their victims' vehicles. Now, you're looking at video showing the aftermath of the first carjacking. It happened just after 11 last night near Lincoln and Montrose. According to police, 4 to 6 suspects in 2 separate cars boxed in the victim's vehicle. Then they got out armed with handguns, forced the victim out of his car, and drove off in that car. 2 other carjackings happened within a half hour. In one of them, police say a passenger was hit and her belongings stolen. Again, police are not yet connecting these carjackings, but as you heard from the details, they're all very similar. And right now, no arrests.
Now, here's my question for you guys, right? Here's my question for you guys. When does it end? Isn't Chicago, now correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm always open to be corrected. Isn't Chicago one of the cities with the strictest, and when I say strictest, I mean strict. Isn't Chicago the city that has one of the strictest gun laws, or some of the strictest gun laws, to prevent citizens from being able to arm and protect themselves legally against the very ones that's boxing you in, that's running up on you with the pistols that ain't supposed to have it anyway? Isn't Chicago one of the cities that legally make it difficult for the citizens to be able to protect themselves against the very ones that's running up on you with that hot lead? Wait a minute. We supposed to wait for the police that you are underfunding. We are supposed to wait for the citizens to participate in arrests. You gonna self-police because I know that we down with defunding the police, correct? No? You said the state of Illinois is generally very strict. Interesting. Didn't they pass the SAFE-T Act a little bit earlier, a couple months ago, where it's basically advocating against bail or advocating for you to be able to get out without having to post bail with just a slap on the wrist and a promise to be able to reappear in court? Didn't they do that for the criminals, but they not doing anything to protect the citizens? Huh. So you telling me that Chicago, the mayor, the alderman, and the governor is all in cahoots with each other to continue to turn Chicago over into what's happening in parts of California? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Somebody in the chat said it's a camera on every block. What, you thought that was stopping them? You thought that they was gonna make it? You thought that they was gonna be chilling since they seen cameras, that they not gonna be over here running up in the place and making it difficult for the citizens in the city? Or you thought it was cool, huh? Look, man, you know who the criminals are. They're your sisters. They're your brothers. Y'all know who they are. They're your sons. They're your uncles. At what point will you get tired of what you see happening within your own community? Because it's getting worse every day. It's getting worse every single day. I thank God for the progress that I have within my city. I ride around. I don't have no problems. I ain't got no trouble. I roll in what I roll in. Now, I am very situationally aware. Don't think that you're just going to be doing whatever it is that you're going to be doing when you're doing it. I do have security depending on where I'm going to be at that particular time of the day. But let's be clear, man. It's crazy out in a lot of these cities. And they're protecting the criminals, and they're not even criminalizing them anymore. And now it's the citizens that got to be fearful of not only their life, but the bureaucratic process to come along with prosecuting the people that rob you. That's crazy. You already in a reactive state. You already can't drive your car down the street. Chicks is getting hit in the head in the middle of the day on a Magnificent Mile. Chicago has over 30% vacancy rate on the Miracle Mile itself, the premier shopping destination in the entire state. And they have a 30+% vacancy rate. And even the Grand Lux said that they getting up out of there. Even the Grand Lux said that they getting up out of there. It's insane, man. It is absolutely disrespectful, and it's insane. But let me read a couple of super chats because this is just the beginning. We're going to get started with the show for real right now. All day, Dre says, What are your thoughts on remote UX design as a career? What is this remote thing? This is what I'm trying to understand. I know your thoughts on cloud security, but I would love to get a second opinion for UX. Thank you in advance. All right, for those of you that's not familiar, UX means user experience. You can say UI, UX, which is user interface and user experience. You have UX architects, UX designers, UX evangelists. That is where my career, where I got my bones at, was in UX. So I am currently a UX evangelist / director over the department of a mid-sized bank, right? And I believe that UX is always going to be at the forefront of what we need from a technological perspective, and that it is a talent, it is a skill, it is a gift. Sometimes people that don't really understand what the blessing comes along with design and how you can leverage that in information technology. Now, the thing about UX, though, is that you're the go-between. You're the communication between the bean pushers or the bean counters and the people that are in the upper offices or the product owners and the project managers and the developers, because the developers act like they don't know how to talk and they don't know how to communicate, but they smart as hell. And then the product owners and the product managers got all of these grandiose ideas and they trying to tamp down and make everything so sterile that it's not actually a good experience for the customer. So you're the person that strikes the balance and is basically the voice of the customer. Even though they have a product owner, you're the voice of the customer. And you communicate effectively, and you're the go-between between management, the scrum masters, the product owners, the project managers, and all of those other people, and the developers that have to actually implement whatever design that you have, right? So I think that UX is a beautiful, awesome, and it is a huge bag to be had in it. You will probably have to learn Figma and Adobe XD. You're going to live in Illustrator and Photoshop and places like that. And you might even have to do a little bit of development. So you still need to understand what the development process is. However, there's a lot of money to be made in it, a ton of money. But I don't like this whole remote thing that y'all keep saying. Why do y'all keep saying remote? Y'all know that it is important to have FaceTime with whomever it is that you're in. And it's okay if you want to work remote also, but don't go into it for the remote. Go into it for the career. And if you just so happen to be able to do a remote position on top of that, then that's awesome. But stop saying remote. Y'all gonna have to get out of that. Y'all got to get away from that. All right. So I think that it's a great career. It is a very, very, very awesome career. Jeremy A says, AD, you seen when the senator ready to fight Congress? I did see that. I'm going to be reviewing that probably tomorrow or Friday. Highly Offensive says, sounds like Grand Theft Auto. They took the game seriously. Nah, they was living it. Grand Theft Auto was based off of their life. You know what I'm saying? Soundtrack. Easy Money says, did you catch Brandon Capone said he took over the staffing for nursing in that video you critiqued yesterday? He is watching your show. I know they be watching. I know they paying attention because they looking for points on how to run a city more effectively for somebody that actually understands it from a business perspective. Yes says, keep the grind alive. Young brothers need big brothers like yourself. Just came out of the attic from getting to the bag. Get a trade and get the bag. Trades are good too. Thank you to everybody that contributed over to the platform. I'm going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Let's move back over to Chicago though, right? Because we're not done. Chicago today, and this week is voting on a budget.
Brennan Johnson's budget for next year will be up for a vote later today.
This comes as the city council still has a lot of questions about the cost of the migrant crisis. MC5's Lisa Chavarria joining us this morning. So, Lisa, what are we hearing from some of those aldermen?
There are concerns about money. That's really what it's coming down to, guys. So there are questions about how much money the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for. The city council will have the chance to vote on that issue, among others, as part of the mayor's budget today. In that budget for next year, Mayor Brandon Johnson is setting aside $150 million to help with the migrants. So far this year, the city says it's spending $40 million a month to help the new arrivals.
All right, so I'm not the sharpest knife in the tool shed, but this is the Millionaire Morning Show, so we do got to do a little bit of math. I know that y'all didn't like math when y'all was in school, and y'all keep talking about, man, they doing new math now. No, math is math, and the math ain't mathing when we starting to do the numbers and we crunching it. So first and foremost, they're saying that Mayor Brandon Johnson set aside roughly $150 million just for migrants. Okay. That's point A. Point B is currently they're spending upwards of over $40 million a month for migrants. Okay, so if my mental math is correct, that means that you're spending upwards of between $480 and $500 million a year outside of what you've already had allocated for city services, police departments, administrative services, garbage pickup. So you are already over budget by $500,000, and I've seen reports where they've been over budget by the amount of over $600 million already. When Lori Lightfoot was in office, they were projecting a budget deficit of over $80 million, but they're spending an additional $40 million a month. Let's just grasp the gravity of what we're saying right now. 40 million, not 40,000, not $40. I know that that's the going price of the brick. When it started to get a little rough out here, she giving it up for $40. We're not talking about $400,000 a month, which that would be crazy in itself because that's the equivalent of almost $5 million a year. No, we're saying that they're spending an additional 40 Chicago. Let's pay attention here. This is just Chicago. 40 million a month. Right now, today, over 600 million budget deficit, and we don't know what it's ballooned to right now because everything is reactive, right? So we don't know. And then he's trying to set aside $150 million of the current budget that would have went somewhere, so they had to trim that out of the budget, or they had to raise prices in order to make sure that they pass that expense over to the taxpayers for migrants. Okay, so the math ain't mathing. I don't know if he's ever went to business school, opened up a business, and this is what I believe that one of the criteria for politicians in order to get elected into office, where they have to do a balanced budget. If you're doing a balanced budget, if you are to become a politician, you cannot just be a city, civic, neighborhood project leader. You have to have good moral compasses, ethics. You should have to at least understand business, open one, went to business school, something. Because if you don't understand how money works, how can you successfully run what is basically a Fortune 500 type of company in an entire city where you're requiring so many different people and so many moving parts and paying people, and then also budgeting for crises in order to be successful? How? The math doesn't seem to be lining up, and the budgets is messed up. Meanwhile, they're still raising property taxes on the citizens while they don't even own their own streets. Make it make sense for me.
That's bringing up concerns from some aldermen. Here's what two of them had to say about the amount being proposed.
I think it's an accurate assessment of what the city can put up right now in this moment. I think we need more investment from the state. We need more funding from the federal government. We are continuously.
You don't go and beg for more money. Listen, that is the equivalent of, hey, listen, Anton, you a grown man. You can't fix it. You can't hack it. You got a child. I'm going to go over to my mama as a 40-year-old man and ask her for more money. You see why that don't make sense? You can't borrow your way to success. You can't go to daddy government over to Biden and say, hey, we can't balance our budget in this city. We need more money. No. You deal with it accordingly. You don't go and beg for more resources and then force all of us to have to contribute into what you're doing. We have to cut off the faucet, cut off all of the government assistance, and force people to make a better decision not to become a sanctuary city, to close off our borders, to be working. And when they have the ear of the president, they need to be advocating for things that are in our benefit instead of reactively asking for money because they're unable to be able to balance their budgets in the first place.
Being told that we anticipate the federal government, the Biden administration, to step up and pay its fair share. But if we're not asking them to declare an emergency, we're really going to hope that they come back later out of the goodness of their heart and to pay for the expenses incurred by the taxpayers of the city of Chicago.
So they don't even have a guarantee, which they shouldn't be going over to the federal government anyway, but they don't even have a guarantee from Biden himself that he's going to help them shore up their budget, which there is no end date by which they can support migrants. So how long do you support them before they're able to get off the nipple and be able to support themselves? Since you wanted to bring them in and make yourself a sanctuary city, is this also going to happen in 2024, 25, 26, 27, 28? When? When do you cut off the faucet? When do you stop and realize that the math is no longer making sense and I have to do things a little bit different? Because they can't just tax y'all to death. Taxes are literally a scam. I'll get into that in a little bit. That's not a part of what it is that I want to talk about right now. Taxes are a scam to me. Real talk. When does it stop? When do we start having an honest conversation with ourselves to ask ourselves the question as to why we continue to vote the way that we do for people that don't have our best interests at heart, A, and don't understand how to run a city effectively, B? Meanwhile, that's what they're putting together from a budget allocation for dealing with the migrant crisis going forward. And this is what the migrants are doing.
A bus of brand new arrivals pulls up at the 12th District Police Station today. While migrants continue to arrive daily in Chicago, the amount is not nearly as many as it was over the summer when daily bus arrivals were in the double digits. Today, the city is expecting only 2 buses. Volunteer Luciana Diaz says the Halloween day snow was a reality check for many living at the police stations.
The snow day, it was freezing for everybody, and I told them that's nothing. This is nothing, guys. You should start looking for shelter or go to other state, other city.
With the realization.
Wait. Did y'all hear what she said? When you let people suffer, this is what Luciano, what was her name again? Let me see what her name was. Luciana Diaz. Luciana Diaz. You finally got a translator over there, and Luciana said, listen, guys. This is nothing. You haven't seen anything yet. You over here, you just got a little bit of snow. They call this the Windy City because it's going to get bad out here. She said, listen, y'all, word for word, the words that came out of her mouth. She said, look, y'all better find a different state. You better go back home. You're going to have to figure out some better weather. But I'm telling you, it's going to get bad out here in these streets. That's what Luciana said to him. Luciana said that to him. She said, listen, you got to find a warmer climate. Now, one of the reasons why people move over to the West Coast and why homelessness is so rampant over into the West Coast is because of the weather. So the weather over in California, for example, is a gift and a curse for people that can afford to live there, especially in places like San Diego. The third warmest place in the wintertime in the United States of America. Number 1 is Hawaii. Number 2 is Miami. And number 3 is San Diego. People go there because they can survive, and it's much easier for them to be able to be homeless in the wintertime or when the weather gets a little bit dicey and a little bit shaky. And so the reason why you see 2 buses is because the ones that was already there, she said they phoned a friend home. She said, listen, it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough when it still really starts snowing. So they phoned a friend. They phoned home. Somehow they was able to tap into that technology, and they phoned home and they said, look, guys, we might want to pick a different sanctuary city or a different location where we can thrive. And it went from 20 buses a day to 2 buses. When you let people go through things or you let people suffer, they start to make adjustments.
You should start looking for shelter or go to other state, other city.
With the realization of a cold winter ahead, combined with the lack of shelter and jobs,
Woo!
many migrants we spoke with at the 1st and 12th District police stations say if given the opportunity, they would leave Chicago for another city. Diaz says some migrants even want to go back to their home country.
It's so bad. They said, listen, hey, Chi-Town, the people of Chi-Town, I know y'all saying that y'all don't want us here. We don't want to be here either. They said, look, if we had other options, you think we'd be staying in this POS? We don't like your skin color. We don't like your mayor. We don't like your schools. We don't like your weather. If I had it's so bad in Chicago that they going back home after allegedly trekking through the jungle. They said that they was trekking through the jungle. People was dying. You know a city got to be bad. You know a city got to be bad when they said that I would rather go home and suffer than live here in Chicago. I have never heard such a thing in my entire life. I have never heard people that ain't got a penny to their name, can't even rub 2 nickels together in order to be worth 10 cents, said that it's so bad in this city and it ain't even got cold yet that we would rather go home or leave this mother effer than to stay here in this POS. We don't want to be here. Y'all don't want us here, and we don't want to be here. Usually we would endure, but it's so bad, and they carjacking people over on the north side and the south side that we willing to go. Some of these people said, look, bro, we lived through the jungle, and it ain't nothing like the rack. Ain't nothing like Chirac. I will deal with a corrupt government, war, famine, but at least we got good weather.
Have an American dream, for in my opinion, is a fake American dream. So if they asking me a lot for if I know somebody who can buy a ticket flight for them to come back to Venezuela.
6-word.
Dog, she said they're asking them. They're asking the volunteers. I ain't never heard of no junk like this in my life. They asking the volunteers, do you know any way that we can get a ticket back home? Anybody that flies back home. Do Spirit fly over there to Venezuela? Do Spirit fly over there to Venezuela? They said we want to deal with the cartels. We'll deal with drug trafficking, human trafficking, all kind of trafficking, and we ain't even got no traffic lights up in this boy. They said, bro, do you know somebody that can get us a flight back home? I ain't never heard of no junk like that in my life. Never heard of no junk like that in my life. We don't want your schools. We don't want your health care. We don't want your weather. We don't want your women. We don't want your men. We don't want Mayor Brandon Johnson. We don't want your aldermen. We don't want nothing that y'all got to offer over here in Chicago. If you could just spare a little bit of change, sir, in order to get me back home, I will be very, very grateful as a result of it. I ain't never heard no junk of this in my entire life.
Alderman Will Hall, who traveled to the border a few weeks ago, says word is spreading on social media among migrants that Chicago may not be the best place to come. And border nonprofits say not as many people are asking to come to Chicago.
People are beginning to get informed that it's cold, the opportunities are scarce, and that unless you want to sleep on a concrete mattress, don't come. And that's what those who have come seeking asylum have said.
Jorge Barrera has been living at a police station for 6 months.
Ooh, we got that fresh cut and that fresh lineup, though. Who your barber on the street? Okay, Jose. And we don't even know if that's your real name, big dog.
With no opportunity to work here, the 39-year-old says he would leave, but he doesn't have the money or luxury to pack up and go to warmer places like California, Texas, or Miami.
California, Texas. Listen, Jose, that's over here getting his hair cut, They trying to go to the same place that all of the city girls is going to. They trying to get to the same place you trying to get to. You trying to get to Miami in order to get some modern women? Or said trying to get to Miami and get to some modern women down there in Miami? You trying to go over there and get that Cali sunshine and that weather and be bumping that Nissy Hustle? Or said trying to get over there to California to bump that Nissy Hustle? Texas? All of the Californians moving to Texas? Or said he trying to get over there to Texas and find out what's happening. He heard Houston is the new Atlanta. Houston is the new Atlanta. Yo, I've never in my life, this is the first news report that I've ever heard of in my life, where the people hate Chicago so much. Man, y'all got some explaining to do, Rack. Hey, the Rack, Chirac, y'all got some explaining to do, the Rack. People don't like what you got going on over there. They say they'd rather be over there in Miami, Texas, and California because Chicago ain't it. That ain't it. This ain't it. This ain't what you want. All you got to do is let people suffer a little bit. Oh, okay. You think that you tough, huh? This is what you need to do to your children. Oh, you think you tough. Oh, your kid keep running away, keep saying that they gonna run away, and you keep stopping them at the door. Please don't go. You think you tank? I say go. Go ahead. Be the middle of the winter, be a snowstorm. I'm running away. I open that door, be like, it's cold in them streets. You see them rats down there on that corner? You see them thugs over there right there on the end of that other corner? Pick which one you want to go to. You want to go and sleep in a garbage can, or you want to go over there with the men over there that's rubbing their hands together because they can't wait to get their hands on you. Go ahead and see what happened. Show them a little soft white underbelly. Huh? Go ahead. You tough. Oh, you think you tough. Don't threaten me with a good time. I see a lot of guys, they come up on my platform on Wednesday night, so we gonna cook up tonight. They come up on my platform, man, she keep trying to leave me. Let her go. The streets will not be kind to her. I promise you, there will be gnashing of the teeth. She's gonna have to pay her own bills. She's gonna have to make sure that she put gas in her own car. Her insurance gonna be due. The repo man gonna be sitting at her doorstep. The migrants is experiencing it right now. Let her go. Let her feel what the streets look like. But just let her know. Give her preface the conversation by saying, hey, listen, once you leave, I don't know where you've been. You can't come back. The streets will not be kind to you. Once you leave out here, you are for the streets forever. Once you leave out, you for the streets forever. It's cold out here. Let her go and test the waters. The first guy that she gonna get her hands on, she gonna be like, oh my God. She gonna make a TikTok. This guy is so much better for me than what it is that I'm used to. He gonna give her that disease. As soon as he had post-nut clarity, he ain't gonna remember her name no more. And then she gonna start hating all men. And then she gonna want to become a lesbian. As my guy, Jesse Lee Peterson say, she's want to be a lesbian. Go ahead. You tough. Go on out there. See what the streets want to talk to you like. Enforcer 2K9 says it's a rare condition in this day and age to read any good news in Chicago's newspaper page. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Let us see what's happening out here in these streets. There's plenty of women that want you. All Day Dre says, I say remotely because my overall goal is to maximize earnings in the U.S. in USD while minimizing monthly expenses in a different country. But I hear you, though. Oh, you trying to be a passport, bro. I hear what you're saying. J Ben, my dog, says if the grass ain't greener on the other side was a clip. Came for the American dream. Realize the dream comes after you sacrifice sleep. #woke. That's a fact, though. Shout out to my dog, J Ben, in the building. Mr. Locke came back through with another 20 ball. Says they went from give us us free to trying to give it back. They said you can have it. You can have it, Chicago. Shout out to my dog, Mr. Lot. Zach is in the building, says they want to be in Florida, but they said no. Because Florida got a governor that's on the other side. Maybe y'all can make it in California. They accepting applications. Dylan KO says, must not have been as bad where they came from to want to go back. Tell me it ain't so. Man, I don't believe that these people went over into the jungle. You can't tell me that you crossed the jungle and that you seen death and then you went over to Chicago and say, but this is worse. I don't believe that unless Chicago was that bad. Martin Meck says, freedom ain't free. Be careful what you ask for. It come with a cost and somebody gonna pay it. Quick Octane in the building says, I'm moving to your city, Anton. Nope. We cool over Detroit. We good. We like what we got going on over here. We see the building. The Lions is winning. The Pistons are, I don't know if I'm going to renew next year, but we going to get there. Anyways, let's continue over with the show. So the thieves, though. The thieves. Shout out Watch Too Much Reality 7 in the building. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. The thieves are not just targeting the people that's walking down the street. The thieves is not just targeting the modern women. I'm going to bring you over into Michigan. A lot of people not really sure what we got happening over here in Michigan. They don't know what Metro Detroit and all of the surrounding areas and all of that look like. A lot of people only see what they see on the news and they're not familiar. They think it's Flint. They think it's just the hoods over in Detroit and stuff like that. They're not really familiar. But the thieves know. And guess where the thieves is from? Shout out to Savvy Social Work. I'm going to read that super chat shortly. Guess what the thieves is from? The thieves ain't even from here. They from somewhere else.
Well, they keep coming in waves. Highly skilled thieves from outside the country preying on high net worth homes across the region. Thanks for joining us here for the news at 6 o'clock. I'm Kimberly Gill.
I'm Devin Scalia. Police tell us these thieves are highly trained in the art of home invasion burglaries, and they roam the country and they go after very specific expensive homes. It happened again over the past week in Oakland County in the communities of Bloomfield Township and Birmingham. Rod Maloney live tonight with what the sheriff.
So if you look at the map here, Bloomfield Township, Birmingham, all of that is Oakland County. So it's 3 main counties in Michigan, right? Detroit is in Wayne County. Wayne County is also home to some of the richest neighborhoods that you can ever imagine. Some in Northville, some in Livonia. It's a lot of different places all around it, but the counties are thriving. And so you got Wayne County, you got Macomb County, you have Oakland County. Now, Oakland County is largely considered one of the richest counties in the United States of America. And that is literally across the street from Detroit. Literally across the street from Detroit. But they said that the thieves are not even from the city. They come from outside the country and they target specific regions, specific counties, specific neighborhoods, and they are coming for you. See, even the thieves that come over here from out of the country, they even smart enough to even go for the people that's not necessarily in proximity to them. They said that we not even going to rob the people that's in the spaces that we living at while we here in America. We going to target a certain demographic of people. And so let me continue to play this out for you guys.
Sheriff is saying about it. Rod.
Well, Devin, this is Charing Cross here in Bloomfield Township. You can see the marble gates here. It's not a gated community, but gated communities certainly are the targets here. And the sheriff is saying that they're coming over the border from South America, looking to steal, prey on those high-end homes. And he says that basically they're feasting on the backs, really, of the poorly prepared. Charing Cross is a long road lined with spacious, sometimes opulent homes, as is Oxford Court in Bloomfield Township, each hit over the past week. In Birmingham, Tooting Avenue is so exclusive it has a no trespassing sign on the private road. Not that the thieves cared at all. They hit here over the weekend when the owner wasn't home. First time Birmingham's been hit by these particular burglars. It's become so common, Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard tells Local 4 they've started an informal task force that's likely soon to become official. They're after teams of 4 who travel the country. They first hit heavily in California, but found their way to flyover country over the past few months.
It's not surprising to know that they've expanded their reach because it allows things to cool down potentially in a particular area or allows them to move on with a different team. And that's kind of what we're seeing.
straight from south of the border. Straight from south of the border. They come here. And again, I know that y'all just want to have open borders and we just want to go in and you can let people do what they want to do and they can come into your space and you advocate for them, but they're hitting the least prepared. Well, why is these people the least prepared? They got the most money. They got the most resources. They live in some of the most exclusive neighborhoods because they didn't expect for it to happen in their communities. Their kids can play outside. Their kids and everybody knows the neighbor. Where everybody knows your name. Y'all never seen Cheers before? Their kids play outside. They are connected to each other. They know who their neighbors are. Listen, when one house get hit and two houses get hit, wait a minute, this is not a coincidence. They start putting two and two together. Oh man, y'all going out of town because everybody want to go to Florida for the wintertime or for vacation? We're going to come see you. They're ill prepared because often at times they have no reason in their minds in the past to worry about somebody coming in and breaking in their home. But they're coming south of the border. They already beat y'all up over in California. They said we're going to go flyover country and we're going to head to Michigan and we're going to hit some of the most exclusive places over there. I told y'all last week that the pain and the suffering and the problems that you're experiencing in your neighborhood or when you see certain things happening on social media and the news, it's not going to just be exclusive to and for you. It is going to be happening to everybody, everywhere, all across the country, and you are not going to be able to get away from it. It's not just going to be their problem. It's going to be all of our problems. Oh, you thought that just because you lived in a gated community that they wasn't going to hop over the fence? Boy, they used to hopping over fences. Have y'all seen that border wall that they was crawling over? They used to hopping over fences. They're not worried about you. If they can jump in a plane and get over from California, you think that they can't get over your fence? Yeah, they coming for you. Everybody will participate. Everybody will share in the pain and nobody will be absolved from it. So if we're not doing the things that's best for us, what you think that you're going to move away from it? I had somebody tell me, man, skip that. I'm moving out of this place. I'm moving over here. You still taking you with you. You still got roaches, don't you? What, you think them roaches don't travel? Well, how y'all think that people get bed bugs? Well, how y'all think that hotels and Airbnbs get bed bugs? That's one of the reasons why I don't want an Airbnb, because I was like, man, I don't want to deal with I don't want to deal with the traffic. I don't want to deal with the people. More importantly, I don't want to deal with that certain demographic of people that don't seem to take care of other people's stuff, and they also feel entitled to being able to do what they want to do with your property. I won't. I will not get into, let me not say ever. But I just can't imagine getting into the Airbnb game because people are disrespectful. I'm going to review that on a clip that I got coming up today, Jamal. They are disrespectful.
Really, really a challenge because, they're all over the country and they move quickly.
They'll break windows and watch to see how homeowners react, or if there's any reaction at all, like as in an alarm. They're after cash, expensive jewelry, purses, watches, and even small safes they can open later. Most disconcerting, says the sheriff, is a lot of this is easily preventable.
We've seen a number of these burglaries happen and the alarms weren't on, or they have systems, but their systems aren't up to date or have some of the current overlapping coverage that I would suggest.
Now, one of the things Bouchard is saying is that they do not seek conflict. In fact, they do their best to get away before anybody knows they're there. So it's kind of important to have those alarms, if in fact you have them, and make them up to date. And they are, about 100 of these gangs now are out going all around the country. Back to you.
100 of them? So one of them phoned home and said, hey, this worked. These people ain't tripping. We can get in a crib. We broke a window. Nobody reacted to it. We came back the next day. The window was still broke, and nobody called the police as a result of it because everybody is minding their business. And so we just going to go on in and go ahead and take what we need and go through your stuff and try to find a safe and see if you got any luxury washes. Over 100 of these gangs are running around. Chris Mayberry, send that to me in my email, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com. They're running around and running through your stuff. Running around and running through your stuff. It's unfortunate. It used to be a time where going over into somebody else's house or going in somebody else's house, you risked the possibility of getting your head took off. There used to be a time in this country where if you went over into somebody else's yard or somebody else's house, if you opened up a door that wasn't yours, that you could get your head took off. There used to be accountability and consequences that came along with you running up in the wrong place. Now they're telling you to make sure that you have your alarm on and that you can track them. And man, they came from south of the border. We don't even know what their name is or if their name is what their name is. We don't know where they came from. We don't know where they came from. And there is no consequences that come from it. And that's why they feel comfortable running up in your stuff. They feel comfortable going up in your place and going up in your stuff because they know that you not going to do nothing, you can't do nothing, and if you did do something, it's a possibility that we going to hold you accountable because we running in the Victim Olympics. That's a fact, though. Let me read some of these super chats, and then I want to get to the real part of the show that I wanted to share with you guys. Watch Too Much Reality 7 says, that tank cover wasn't bad, Anton. I got to give you that. Salute. Thank you, my friend. Wasn't really trying to become a singer. Savvy Social Work says, hey, D, listening in between patients. That's what I'm talking about. To hell in a handbasket with every dim city. Love from New York. Shout out to Savvy Social Work in between clients running out with your boy. Ron Moon says, send the good brothers and sisters to Akon City. All Day Dre is in the building. Shout out to All Day Dre says, what are the languages you suggest I learn for UX development? I don't really think that you really need to learn any real languages. It's just really on the front end. HTML, CSS. You need to understand, well, you don't really need to understand any other languages outside of that. It's really just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML, you can self-teach yourself that. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Even nowadays, if you go into a large enough organization, you don't have to necessarily do it. But I don't think that you need to become a developer. You just need to understand what development is. So if you want to add that as a part of your skill set, it could be beneficial to you. But I don't think that you need to necessarily become a developer. But you can self-teach yourself that, right? That's not really that big of a deal. Shout out to All Day Dre asking the right questions, getting the right information. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get to the real part of the show that I really want to dive into. All right, so listen. This woman, that you guys sent this video to me in my email, and I appreciate you for doing so. This woman has almost 700,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now, I say that for a reason, and I'm going to come back to that. I want y'all to take that into consideration. This woman has over 700,000, almost 700,000. If I'm doing it correctly, and I'm gonna give her credit, she has over almost 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, right? Now, one of her most recent posts, and again, you guys sent this to me, so I did a little bit of research on her channel because I didn't want to dive into the video too much, but I did watch about a minute and a half of it to see if it's something that I wanted to review in real time. Now, here's the key. Okay? Recently, she posted about the fact that she just landed her dream job. And I'm going to share the video with you guys so that you can break it down with me. But she's recently gotten fired. And I want to go through this video because we don't get enough people being transparent. So first, let me give her some props. I want to give her some props because I think that it's not enough people being transparent, but it's a lot that we can learn from this, considering that she has so many subscribers on YouTube. Her name is Shy the Greatest. CHY the Greatest. Shy the Greatest. I have never seen any of her content except for the minute and a half of this video that I watched in order to determine whether or not it's something that I wanted to watch and break down and do a reaction to. And she said that she recently landed her dream job, but then she got fired. Now, here's the question that you want to ask yourself. Because a lot of people, and this is completely unrelated to the video, but I want to bring this to the forefront of the congregation. If she has over 600,000 subscribers to her YouTube channel, the question that you guys would ask me, because y'all think that subscribers are the only metric by which you're successful on YouTube, why would she have a regular job? Why would she have a regular job? People ask me that all the time. For the Patreon members and the bag chasers, you know and you've seen my deposits. So let me just do a little bit of give y'all a little bit of insight of what we do on the bag chasers. We break down how we can get the most money out of everything that we get ourselves into. I'm not here just for fun. I am also here to make sure that we bust down a bag. I know that runs in the face of whoever it is that your famous financial YouTubers are saying. I know y'all look at their subscribers and y'all impressed by that shit, but if you seen what, I'm sorry. Sorry to the churches and the daycares. I know that y'all, when I talk about them, they get me in a certain space. I know that y'all think that that's meaningful based off of what your favorite content creators are saying and what their subscriber numbers are. But if you are a Patreon member and you're a bag chaser, make sure you tap into the Patreon link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Then you know what I'm busting down because I've shown you. But let me get into the video. So she said that she's fired from her dream job. Again, make sure you give subscribe, tap in, and let's continue to run up the check. Let's get to it.
To this day, guys, I feel like me getting this job and getting fired so quick was like an attack from the enemy. Lil, make it pop. What's up? He know I'm missing me getting fired from a high-end job, corporate America job by the name of Mercedes-Benz. When I first got this job, I was really happy. I felt like my prayers came true. I felt like the staff was really nice. If you haven't saw the video, make sure you guys go check it out. I literally worked there for all of 3 weeks. The reason why I got fired, something that I'm kind of ashamed to admit, I feel like me getting this job and getting fired so quick was like an attack from the enemy. Me and my ex-boyfriend, we were...
Listen. We're not going to blame it on the devil. We're not going to blame it on the devil. We're not going to blame it on God or the devil. Most of the things that we have based off of what y'all communicate on a regular basis is free will. So don't worry about that, y'all. Don't worry about that. It's not the enemy. It's not the devil. It's not none of that. It's all our own fault, and it's a learned experience, right? So your experience is the best teachers. Let's continue.
We're not seeing eye to eye, so I had to like move out of his place as soon as I could. This job paid me the most.
Not moving out of your baby daddy house as soon as you could. Is that what she said? Hold on, let me back that up real quick.
The enemy. Me and my ex-boyfriend, we were not seeing...
Oh, ex-boyfriend, not baby daddy.
Eye to eye, so I had to like move out of his place as soon as I could. This job...
Y'all gotta stop shacking up. Y'all gotta stop shacking up. Marry and then move in together. Marry and then carry. So listen, 2 things is already bothering me. You already outside of what the will of God says in the first place. You're not supposed to be shacking up with no man. How is this based off of what the enemy? Okay, I'm assuming that the enemy is the devil and not necessarily some white man or something, because you know how we do over here, right? So if the enemy is the devil, you operating outside of the will of God in the first place, or in whatever it is that God ordained for you to do before you get into the greatest situations, that he has prepared for you by sleeping and living with a man before you get married with him. You can't be living with an ex-boyfriend and then thinking that you in God's will. What did you think? Okay. All right. Listen. I need y'all to really come to the front of the congregation and make sure you subscribe to the channel, because you're not going to sit here and do what you want to do and think that God is in it. God ain't in it. God said, my name is Bennett and I ain't got nothing to do with it. All right? I'm gonna let it play for a little bit before we stop it.
God paid me the most I ever got paid for working a 9 to 5. The reason why I got fired from this job is for texting on my phone. I know. Let me tell y'all the story time. I knew it was corporate. And I always would hear stuff about like, oh, corporate America is this, corporate America is that. When I first got here, guys, they have phone rooms, phone booths, as if you can get up and get on your phone whenever you want, whenever you please. First week, second week working there, guys, I was training. My training was like a 6-week situation. It was days where I'll get there and she'll say, hey, we don't have much to go over with you today, so you can just look at the monitors, or you can just, look at your notes. At this particular time, I was dealing with IRS stuff. So I was trying to get my business, child money collection back running, but the IRS.
I'm sorry, I wasn't familiar with the IRS part. I didn't watch it up to this part, but let's continue.
That came after me because I owed them so many sales tax. It's been times where, because I didn't reply back, the IRS literally took all the funds out of my checkings, my savings, my business accounts. All of my accounts said 000 one day. It was the IRS's doing. And I could not purchase anything for like an entire weekend because I didn't have no money in my account because they placed a lien on it. Once I learned from that mistake, I told myself, anytime the IRS hit my phone, I'm gonna reply back immediately as soon as I can. One of the tutors will like literally stop, get on their phone, or go get coffee. I'll just be, looking on my phone until it's time to get back to work. Anytime these instructors told me to take notes, anytime they were talking, I was not on my phone. God is my witness. The only time I was on my phone is when we were taking breaks in between. We literally took 4 or 5 breaks daily. After like the second week, that's when I got my company's laptop, my company badge, like everything was good. So I'm like, okay, I'm finna get in there like swimwear. The supervisor, she went from being happy to see me to like barely talking to me, barely like looking at me in my eyes. Like, I'm not sure what it is, but it's weird. As I look around, some of the women in my department that's working, they're watching a movie on their phones with headphones in. Some of them are texting. Some of them are listening to music. It seemed like phones are pretty used on the floor, so I'm not really tripping on it. No phones, signs, rules. Wasn't nothing in a policy stating you couldn't be on your phone. So if I have free time and I'm not being taught for whatever reason, I just put my phone out to check.
Let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson. I don't know. Some people saying that she lying. I can't go by that. The only thing that I can go by based off of what she's communicating to us. All right. So we don't know what the truth is, but we're just going to go based off of what she's saying. First things first, you don't do what everybody else do, especially when you just got in the door. You don't know who those people are. You don't know how long they've been working there. You don't know what their situation is. I'm not worried about what nobody else got going on. The thing that I'm going to do is be on my best behavior. I'm going to present myself as a cultural fit. I'm going to make sure that I don't have my phone put up. If they say no phones or you need to be on your best behavior or need to be focused, you in a training period, I do not pull out my device. I don't care if every single person on the floor is doing what they doing. That ain't got nothing to do with me, especially when you first just get into the door.
Check my emails, whatever the case may be. It was 4 different ladies in my department. Every other day, I would sit next to them and they'll like just let me know what they're doing on their computer. I was a lease administrator. I used to type up leases for employees of Mercedes-Benz to rent out cars. I had my time with all 3 of the ladies except for this one. What my supervisor wanted me to do is basically like learn from each one of them because they all did things differently. I sit next to this last lady. I'm like, hey, good morning. I had just got done finishing my breakfast. She like, you can go sit over there. Following week, she pulls me to the side and was like, I noticed you be on your phone a lot. Just try to minimize it because I don't want you to get in trouble. I'm kind of looking at it like, okay, well, you were.
I noticed that so there must be some cap in your rap. I think that the people that was in the chat might have got it correctly. She said, I noticed that you're on your phone a lot. Out of her own mouth. So I only got to go by based off of what she's communicating. The lady that she was training with said, hey, sister girl, sister honey child, I noticed you're on your phone a lot. Now, obviously, she's telling us that she ain't never really on her phone. The only time that she talk real fast. She ain't never really on her phone. The only time that she on her phone is when she want to text for the IRS and all of this other type of stuff. The lady that's training her said, hey, sis, you on the phone a whole lot. She warning her. When all of the rest of the ladies ain't said nothing until I was training her, she noticed her. She said, hey, fam, you got a lot going on over there. Let's continue.
Just on your phone all morning and you're telling me not to be on my phone. So that was the first thing that went to my mind. But I'm like, okay, maybe she's trying to help me. My supervisor came over there and was like, I know that you've been on your phone these past couple days. When you're on the floor, you're not allowed to be on your phone, but it's phone rooms that you can go in if you need to take a call or a text. I said, okay. I said, I didn't know. Thank you for letting me know. It won't happen again. I literally put my phone in my book bag and I was done for the rest of the day. So at this point, even though I had no tasks to do, I literally was like sitting there. The following day, I think they had.
I don't care what happened. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to stare at that wall. Because if it's my dream job, like she's saying, if it's the job that I always wanted and it's the job that's going to get me out of the situation that I am in at home, I am going to just be quiet. I'm going to be astute. I'm going to be reading the company policy, the manual, training, understanding, doing whatever it is that I could do. They paying me. They paying me for me to trade in my time to sit here and stare at this wall. Cool, I'm going to just stare at the wall.
Had like a team meeting. I couldn't attend. They was like, yeah, you can attend because you just started working here. So you're going to be doing some training on your computer. I had just got my company computer. Now things are getting busy. Now things are getting right. I'm on my computer. I'm doing my training. My phone is not out. And my supervisor came around the corner like trying to sneak peek to see what I was doing. She's like trying to peek over my shoulder like to be sneaky. So I'm like, okay, maybe she thought I was on my phone. But girl, I told you it won't happen again. So I don't know if you thought it was cap or you was trying to catch me in something, but babe, it's not working out. Everything is good. I'm just finishing this training up. She left, guys, and literally it was an older white man that came out of nowhere, very hostile, very angrily in his eyes and eyebrows. The women in my department are downstairs, but it's still other people in the office that's around. He came over there like, who is Angel Willis? Who is Angel Willis? Y'all know that's my real name. He was like, yeah, lately you've been parking in the VIP spaces. You're not VIP. You don't need to park there. And mind you guys, this is like my first month. I'm not knowing where I can park, where I can't park. All I know is my supervisor said I can park anywhere in the park.
Come on, y'all. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Is this what we gonna do? Is this what we gonna do? Listen, we all know where the VIP spaces are. If all of the if the parking lot is full and is 5 spaces in the front that ain't nobody else parked in, first, it's a strong possibility that it got a sign on it that says VIP or something. What you thought? You thought that they was making that available for you? You thought that you was special? You didn't know? Come on, man. Look, man, y'all put targets on your own back. Y'all make y'all now he the angry man and he can see fire breathing in his eyes. Come on, man. Come on, we got to be real. If we're going to take accountability, you got to take accountability.
Parking garage. The day before this, it was like a sticker on my car basically saying, hey, you know, you can't park here. This is VIP parking. So that following morning, I made sure I didn't park right there anymore. Mind you, it's a new morning. I didn't park nowhere near where I parked. You're parking in VIP. You don't need to park there. You're not VIP, like loud. Like everybody's like looking, taking their headphones off, like what's going on?
You're not a cultural fit,
I said,
baby.
sir, I didn't park there this morning. I'm not sure if you didn't
You're
see. He was like,
fit.
oh, you didn't park there? I said, no, sir. I said, did you check? No, I didn't check, but I was just letting you know that you can't park there. I said, yes, I received the sticker on my car. Like I'm aware I couldn't park there. I didn't.
I can smell the attitude, the talk back. See, she explaining it to us based off of how she communicating to us, trying to make it out of be a certain way. Listen, I know who y'all are. I know who y'all are. I know I can smell the attitude oozing. It wasn't, hey, did you check? It was, oh, I didn't park there this I'm assuming, but it was probably, I didn't even park there this morning. What, did you check? See, my car ain't even there this morning. Did you check? Why you ain't just say, oh, no, I'm not parked there this morning? Like, humility is your best friend, right? When you're not combative, when you operate out of humility, you have zero problems. People can smell the apology, the humility is in your... See, communication is 90% body language. It's not just what you say, it's also how you say it, and it's the fact that you didn't have to say it, but you said it anyway, which is one of the reasons why I'm about to get you up out of here, because I know that you're going to be a problem if you get past your 90 days. When you get past your 90 days, you're going to be a problem. You're going to be a heavy burden on my heart, because I'm going to have to deal with all of that attitude oozing out of your spirit.
Park there anymore. I feel picked on. I don't feel welcome anymore. I'm like, the devil is really trying to attack me. Like, he's really trying to get under my skin right now. And I just started this job. It's my lunch break, right? We have like an hour lunch break. I go to the phone room during my lunch break to talk to the IRS. With the IRS, like 15 minutes. I come back out. My supervisor is looking for me. She has my company computer in her hand. She like, oh, I have your computer. We just have to go over a few things. Your logins aren't working, so we're going to give it back to you another.
No. Go ahead and clock out, sis. Go ahead and clock out, sis. Hey, y'all. If they find y'all computer, if y'all walking back from being on the phone when they told your ass to not be on the phone, and you was parking in the CEO spot, or you was parking in the director spot, that was the vice president spot, and they grabbing your computer, go ahead and clock out, baby. Baby girl. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. We gonna mail you your last check. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. We gonna mail you your last check. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Go ahead and clock out. Go ahead and you can get off early today. Oh, but we super busy. Nah, go ahead and clock out, baby. Go ahead and clock out.
Other day. So you can go home. I said there's nothing else I can do. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just trying to leave if I can stay on the clock. I need bread. Like, I'm not trying to just be here for a couple hours and not get my full day worth of pay. So she was like, oh, well, yeah, it's nothing for you to do since you don't have your computer. It's slick still morning time. It's like early afternoon. It just hit 12 p.m. Bro, I only been here for like 3-4 hours. Like, what the heck? I go out. I look for an apartment so I can move out of my ex-boyfriend's crib. I was talking around, getting pricing. As soon as I get home.
They sent you home early because your password wasn't working. They didn't do a password reset. They just grabbed your computer and sent you home early. You went apartment, honey. I'm sorry. Hold on. We got to give her some credit, though. We got to give her some credit, though, because this is not about her. So I don't even know her. I've never seen her channel before. Y'all sent this to me in my email. We got to give her some credit for being transparent and sharing this story with us, because I love the fact that people are transparent, but this is a learning experience. Baby girl, when they tell you to clock out, do not go and start to go for hunting.
Guys, why I get a call from Human Resources saying, sorry to inform you, but Mercedes-Benz recently terminated your contract. Terminated my contract? For what? I guess they...
Oh, snaps. They said MB Mercedes-Benz USA recently terminated your contract. Go ahead, before you sign that lease, come on home, sis. Go ahead and apologize to your boyfriend. Tell him that you was wrong. Go ahead and give up that box. Make it do what it do so that y'all can get yourself back some, you know what I'm saying? So you won't be homeless out here in these streets. Go ahead. Look, not what you got an attitude with your boyfriend because you thought that you got a new job. That's why I ain't checking for you, because I got a new job anyway. I don't need your money. Second week, 2 weeks later. Hey, sis, we got your laptop because your password wasn't working. How you know my password wasn't working? We just know. that your password wasn't working. Go ahead and clock out at 11 a.m. You just got here at 8. Go ahead and clock out at 11 a.m. We don't got no work for you. But we got like 30 calls in queue. Oh, don't worry about it, sis. Your computer not working. You went out and you started apartment shopping. Oh, y'all really know how to find them, don't y'all? Y'all be sending me some wild videos.
Said you were on your phone, so they felt like you weren't focused. I wasn't on my phone at all today. I'm not understanding, like, what? I said, okay, thank you for letting me know. At that point, I didn't want to argue. I honestly felt very picked on, singled out a bit. Also, too, I told her it wouldn't happen again. So you fired me with no warning. And I'm not trying to play the blame game because some of
they don't have to give you warning in your first 2 weeks. When you listen, for anybody that's new out here in these streets, and I know y'all getting a lot of YouTube money, but y'all YouTube money obviously is not covering y'all expenses, right? In the first 2 weeks that you get a job, they don't have to give you notice. They already watching you from the day that you walk on to the day that you walk out. If you coming in late, if you leave early, if you're not putting in the extra work, if you're not showing that you're a cultural fit, if you're not changing your nail color, if you don't have your hair up, if you're not making the adjustments, if you're not covering up appropriately, you keep parking in the VIP parking. Every time they see you is with your phone, you talking back to the supervisor, you out of there. You out of there. That's just the way that it go. That is life. And I don't know who's setting these expectations, if y'all had any fathers or mothers in your life. But y'all, come on, man. Y'all gotta focus.
this is my fault. Could I have not been on my phone at all? Sure. Once my supervisor gave me that warning, I was not on my phone at all on the floor. I didn't get on my phone until it was my lunch break. She know it was my lunch break. I take my lunch break every day around the same time. So it's like, what you guys really fired me for? Let me know how y'all feel about this in the comments. You fired me the following day after you just warned me not to be on my phone. Could you at least give it a week to see if I would hold up my end of the bargain and not?
No. We hired you to process these leases. It ain't working out, cuz I'm going to need you to go ahead and clock out, give your computer up, stop apartment hunting, go ahead back with your baby daddy. With your boyfriend. And rock out. And don't blame it on God. Don't blame it on the devil. I know the devil be like, dang, y'all keep giving me credit for everything. I ain't even do that one over there. The devil said I've been walking to and from throughout the earth trying to find somebody to be able to test because, and he was like, yo, I don't even need to test her because her wound's going to be self-inflicted. I ain't even true. He told God, he said, God, I bet you that I can get her. He said, I bet you can too. Him and the devil clicked, they gave dap on that one. Yeah, we may be enemies, but we know that one ain't though. Come on, man, stop giving the devil so much credit. The devil ain't do it all. The devil didn't do it. Real talk. I know that the Satanists, ain't that a religion? The Satanists be like, damn, we just catch all of the flag, huh?
Be on my phone. Maybe you already had in your mind made up already that you were going to fire me. Like I said, I'm taking full accountability. I should have never been on my phone. I should have left my phone in the car. I would have never even brought my phone in the building, dog, because I knew I really needed this job. And I knew that I really enjoyed working there. That's why I got fired from Mercedes. Like I said, guys, minor setback for a major comeback. I don't take anything for granted. At the end of the day, God has something better for me. God is giving me something better. Was it very short-lived? Yes, it was very short-lived, and that was a job, the first job I ever enjoyed. It was really nice, had really good benefits, but I just felt like they already had their mind made up about me.
And you messed it up. You came in and you fumbled it. Before you even got the kickoff, you was already on the sidelines fumbling the bag. I just can't understand why these people don't get it. I don't understand why they don't get it. I don't understand why it's not clicking for y'all. Y'all can't code switch. You can't park where you want to park. You can't show up the way you want to show up. You are not a cultural fit.
Even when bruh came at me sideways, like going hard about a parking space, like... It's a bit weird, but okay, guys, that really completes this story time. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Right now, I am unemployed. I'm self-employed currently. I'm just gonna believe in my own dream, believe in my own self, because the thing with these jobs, guys, they can do whatever they want. They're in control of your fate. So forget I gotta pay bills. Forget at the time I slipped was in between homes. Forget all of that. Oh, you on your phone, you're fired. Like y'all didn't even try to see if I knew the work or didn't know the work. It's like, before y'all even gave me work, y'all already had y'all mind made up. It definitely was a good experience. I thank God for that opportunity. No matter how short I was there, I feel like it was an attack from the enemy, because that situation did not make any sense to me. Corporate America is exactly what it sounds. It's corporate America. They're very strict, very stern for absolutely no reason. You know, I still got money coming in from my other business endeavors. I'm still blessed overall. But that really completes this video, guys. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, man, let me know in the comments what it was given. To this day, I feel so weird about that termination. I love y'all. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Peace and blessings.
Lil, make it pop. What's up? If he broke, then we can't talk. Nope. The I make it.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. Oh, man. We not ready. We not ready. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. That was a good video. I certainly wasn't ready. Let me read some of these super chats. Woo! Woo! I wasn't ready. Y'all got to start preparing me before y'all start hitting me with this, yo. Kimberly Straughter is in the building. Said that I got this for the collection place. Thank you, Kimberly. You are so appreciated. I very, very much appreciate what you're doing and contributing to the platform. Queen V is in the building. Says she took the bait like we do. Shaking my head. And another thing, when it's too many Dwight people, my head is on a swivel and I'm looking at them all ex-military. Shout out to Queen V in the building. Hot candy. Just like candy. I can see you when you walk. Shout out to Candy. Says, remember, learn to grow food and make natural medicine no matter what money you have, and stay focused on what's really going on all around us. Shout out to Just Like Candy. I appreciate you, baby girl. My name is Corey is in the building. Says, busy day starting from the beginning of the show. Still wanted to show some love. Thank you for the 20 ball. Man, y'all making it rain on me like a stripper out here in these streets. I'm going to come back to you, Nick. Says, Martin Meck says they out here messing up God's parlays, right? Right? You know what I'm saying? Can't even messing up all of the money. Casual Germ says this video is hilarious. I need the link, please. Shout out to y'all. I'm going to put the link in there. Oh, let me give you that because you put the 20 ball in there. I'm going to put that down. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll tell you exactly what her channel is. Hold on. Give me a second. I'll tell you what the channel is. Ain't no need to wait. It is CHY the Greatest. Shy the Greatest. Shy the Greatest is the name of the lady's YouTube channel. So I'm going to give her credit where credit is due. Thank you, Casual Germ. And then I got my dog, Nicholas Varjo says, good afternoon, Anton. Not sure if you saw my email, but is it possible to put me on a waiting list for a seat at the table? I'm ready to upgrade from the early adopter tier. You see how that happens? RF? I'm not even going to say no names no more. I'm going to just say RF. You see how that happens, RF? My people been rocking with me for a long time. Yo, Nick, I got you, big dog. I see you, Nick. I see you, Big Nick, and thank you for the 50 ball. Love C is in the building. Shout out to Love C. Says, hey, Anton and Bag Chasers fan, my sis in real life is here at first name Paris. We don't want to be rich alone. Shout out to my baby girl, Love C. I love C. I love C. Such a good woman. Such a good lady. All of my Bag Chaser ladies out here in the building. I got one more thing that I want to share with you guys before I get y'all up out of here for the day. One more thing that I want to do before I get y'all up out of here for the day. I want to talk about U.S. cash. Cash money. Let's break it down.
$931.4 million. That's how much the Federal Reserve will spend to print bills in 2023. But there's a problem with U.S. cash.
We haven't modernized or changed our currency. That's probably a mistake.
For example,
we should have dollar coins instead of paper notes.
Physical currency has changed around the world, but not in the U.S.
The Nordic countries, we see a move away from cash and to digital. India had a government-sponsored program to eliminate small denominations of cash.
The rest of the world has moved towards polymer notes, which are a form of plastic, last something like 4 times as long as the old paper notes.
Meanwhile, an increasing number of Americans are ditching cash for electronic payments. The Pew Research Center found 41% of Americans in 2022 didn't use cash in a given week. That number rose from 29% in 2018. Still, cash demand is growing, and experts say it's not going away.
There's actually more cash in circulation today than ever.
Cash production has been growing year by year by 0.5% to 2%.
I always am wondering, and I'm trying to understand why people, and I understand the need for it, and I understand people's disposition behind the idea that they don't want to go over into a cashless society. Because a cashless society, okay, let me tell you the two rocks that I'm in between right here, right? On one hand, I could say that the federal government should be, not that I'm a fan of, but if it's in their best interest to push people over into a cashless society. Well, why is that, Anton? Because it allows for them to be able to track and pay attention to what money is going in where, make better decisions, and then also make sure that they get a fair share of revenue from the IRS as far as taxing people. Now, obviously, again, I'm not advocating for that, but I'm saying that if I'm the federal government, I'm pushing people over into a cashless society because on the other end of the spectrum, and this is the other part of the rock that I'm talking about, right? It's a lot of people that prefer to do business in cash because it's a way for you to not have to be able to track or be accountable for the amount of revenue that you're taking in, right? Being in a restaurant business and building my own restaurants and being invested as a silent investor in restaurants today has taught me a lot, right? Because it's one thing to invest in something and it's another thing to put your hands on it because now you start to understand every part of the process, right? And so I've had conversations with you guys before and I said, look, I learned how other people that didn't look like me was mastering the game as far as how they were able to still survive despite the fact that they had an inferior product, right? When I start breaking things down from a financial perspective, and if you're above board, you understand again, and I had this conversation with my bag chasers on a regular basis, that the cost of buying a particular product, let's just say a piece of chicken, is not just buying it at the manufacturing and then selling it for double the price. You can't buy it for $1 and you sell it for $2. You got to take into consideration insurance, unemployment insurance, worker compensation, loss and shrinkage as far as how many of it getting stolen, how many other pieces of chicken is getting burnt, electricity, rent, right? So many factors goes into the cost of being able to have an establishment, buy, sell, and then sell that, or buy, cook, and then sell that chicken over into the customer, that the true cost of buying a piece of chicken for $1 is really selling it for $5, right? And I'm using just general terms in order to have this conversation with you guys. But then I would go and I would say, okay, well, the real finesse, for example, is that a lot of these foreigners that create their own restaurants, and a lot of times they create these restaurants in order to generate revenue because they don't have any other skill set when they first get here. And it's the second generation that they've been sent to college that don't want to take over the business from their parents because they are now more educated and more suited to make more money, not depending on customers in order to patronize the business to survive, right? They work their own businesses. They don't hire people. They work it every single day. They may take off a week or two throughout the year or a month in order to go over to their mainland and go and visit back home because they send their money back home. And then another way in which they make money is that they're not necessarily having the same cost that's associated with running a business as I am. Well, how is that, Anton? Well, because first of all, they're able to leverage the fact that they're not making income on a regular job to justify being able to get social services and help. They get free health care. They get help when it comes to their housing requirements. And then they're also getting food stamps. Well, how does food stamps factor into it? Well, most places accept food stamps. If you go over to Sam's Club, if you go over to Costco, they'll go over there and they'll get $2,000, $3,000 a month in benefits, and then they'll buy all of their items with food stamps. They'll buy a large majority of what it takes in order to run that restaurant with food stamps every single month. And so it's no cost associated with buying those products, but then at the same time, they'll sell them to you at the same price that I'm selling it for. And so if you look at it from a dope game perspective, right, that means that they skipping out and they actually getting their drugs for free, and they selling the product over to the customers for cheaper than you can sell it for. But you got to meet that expectation, because when your customers come into the restaurant, they going to say, well, the Chinese people are selling it up the street for this amount. Why y'all so high? Now, you can't sit there and explain to them, well, they using their food stamps to go over there and buy it, and I actually generate a lot of revenue, and I have to account for this, and I don't want the IRS on my back. They just going to say, y'all too expensive. That's what they say. I know, because I was in the restaurant business. I know, because I'm in the restaurant business. So they finesse it, and then when you go into the restaurant, they don't have the same payment system as you, right? Everything that you're doing is on and up and up. You got a Square system. You got this point of sale system. They may not be ringing it up because they run it every day. And so you come in and you pay cash, and it doesn't necessarily register, so they don't have to pay taxes on that money, and they just getting it straight into their pockets. So they buying it for nothing. They selling it for everything, and the only cost associated with it is actually running the business, right? And so when you have these conversations and you understand everything from a business perspective, and this is why I don't respect these OGs, right? I don't respect these people that's out here giving you advice. I don't respect these people that just got a degree, but they ain't never built a business, because whether you failed or whether you took it as a learning experience and leveraged it and put it into other things, because certain business lessons and principles expand across all factors and all areas in order for you to be successful. They never got the lesson, so they don't understand the business climate that comes along with having to build it from scratch, because they've never experienced it. See, what we have over in the Patreon and what we do on our mastermind sessions come from a space where we're actually experiencing doing it. So when you have a conversation with me and you say, Anton, what's the cost that's associated with building a home? Or what's the cost associated with building your own business? Or what's the cost associated with e-commerce versus a brick and mortar? We can break that down, and they can't. And this is why they've hit a ceiling a lot of times, because the information that they give you, even for free, is so limited and so surface level, and they can't deep dive into it to help you understand it, not only from a business perspective, but breaking it down to a C student's perspective, because they don't know it. They've never actually done it. This is why it takes 41 years to become 41 years old, because it takes a certain amount of time to get certain business lessons in order for me to become a life coach. I understand money on a level that you can't possibly understand it, because you've never seen some of the things that I've seen, and you haven't experienced it in a competition like arena when it comes from a business perspective. You've never competed. You don't understand what this is like. You have no clue what it's like. You don't know what it's like to actually hire people and then pay them, and then the requirements that come along with it, depending on what state that you're in. You don't know what it's like to actually build something from scratch and then understand each and every intricate detail in order to make an informed decision when somebody is asking you on a coaching call and they sending you their good God-earned money and they asking you for advice, and then you are robbing them because you're not giving them proper information because you don't know. You have no clue on how to coach somebody when it comes to a relationship because you've never truly been successfully married. So you're robbing them when they pay you their hard-earned money for a coaching session because you can't give them any game or real idea. You just spitting, regurgitating things that you heard somebody else say. You've never actually done it. So when you sit there and you kick it with your OGs, and this is why no matter what we talking about, whether we playing a video that talks about cash, I can deep dive in a way that they never could. I can break it down in a way that they never could in real time, not in a pre-recorded video, in real time, because I actually live this every single day. They're competing, and when you think that they're getting the tax breaks, they're not. They're competing under the same rules as you, but they're able to finesse the game a little bit differently because they understand how the government then substantiates whether or not they're making money, and they prevent themselves from having to pay the same amount of money in taxes and upfront costs, along with being able to leverage the social services that come with the federal government and then being able to make even more money off of it by robbing the taxpayers and getting the money that they need in order to start their business by going over to Sam's Club and getting a whole bunch of money and benefits that they then leverage in order to sell you a product at a cheaper price than you can sell it because you're doing it the right way. That's the difference. That's the difference. And this is one of the reasons why businesses don't want cash to go away. If I'm in the federal government, I want cash to go away because then I can be able to track and better understand where the money is leaking out and how we need to run the federal government like a business. We can have a smaller government, but a more efficient government that then helps the people because they have a better system to understand exactly what it is that they should and shouldn't do. When we make decisions in any business, we make a decision based off of data and experience. I could tell you exactly what day of the week it's going to pop off and what day of the week we need to let people go home. That's the difference. That's the difference. Let me continue to play the video.
For at least a decade.
U.S. government is very much engaged in electronic commerce in addition to being the entity that prints cash.
In terms of electronic transactions, replacing cash, no. Cash always has an important and valuable spot.
So what's wrong with U.S. cash, and how can we fix it? The $1 bill was the most popular currency in the U.S. for years. But in 2017, for the first time in history, the $100 bill surpassed the one. And today, 18.5 billion $100 notes are in circulation. $1 bills are the second most circulated at 14.3 billion notes, and $2 bills are circulated the least at 1.5 billion.
The $100 comes from U.S. currency being a global currency. And a lot of those hundreds are outside the country, and they're being used for store of value.
Some speculate that the rise in $100 bills in circulation may also be to avoid taxes or for illegal activity, since...
Did I not just say that? Did I? No, there's not a suspicion behind it. It's true. There's not a suspicion behind it. It's true. That's one of the reasons. Listen, they're leveraging the currency against their own currency in order to value it and then raise it up and down. In order to do that, you got to have something to measure against, right? The second thing is people want cash to stay in circulation because it allows for them to keep more money in their pocket, similar to the way that I just explained it to you.
Cash can be traded anonymously.
I think the other argument is somebody involved in illegal activity will find a way to get around not having $100 bills.
Credit cards or electronic payments of any type, there's a way to track them.
But I do understand wanting to be fully anonymous as you go about your day, and cash does provide that.
They don't want their wife to know they spent $200 on a coin for collectors, for example.
And in the past, accessibility has...
That's how y'all gonna get caught up with y'all side chicks. Because all of the credit card payments is going over to the hotel room. Yeah, people need that cash. They need that cash.
Determined what currency Americans choose.
The $2 bill has lost its place in everyday usage. It was left out of the vending machine market. Denominations like the $2 bill.
Toy says, I'm seeing a lot of restaurants saying they're cashless. What are the dope boys going to do? Well, the reasons why the restaurant said that they cashless is to prevent people from stealing. It's to prevent the employees from pocketing the cash. Because a lot of times, if you work at a place long enough, you start to automatically know what the prices are, even when tax is in it. And then they just throw the money right in their pocket instead of even punching it into the register. So if you're a customer and you walk in every day and your meal is $15.60, and you automatically come in with that cash, they automatically know exactly what to give you back, and then they pocket it themselves. So when you cash out your register, you just take the difference. Or you just throw it right into your pocket. But the reason that they go cashless, Toy, is because it's harder for people to steal if you're not trading in cash, because everything is electronic, and so your transaction has to be conducted in a certain way in order to do so.
Or the $half coin, because there was no space made in the actual cash registers, they became less popular. In the 1960s, the $half lost its place because it wasn't included in the use of parking meters.
The Federal Reserve has also ended production of currency before and tried to change different denominations.
America used to make things called half cents. The penny wasn't always the lowest denomination of coin.
Bills over $100, like the 500, 1,000, and 5,000, were discontinued in 1969 because they were rarely spent. And at that time, checks and credit card payments were on the rise.
In the late 1960s, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing called the Treasury, and the Treasury called the Federal Reserve, saying, if we're going to print these bills again, we have to make new plates. There was a debate going on at the highest levels, and they thought, nobody's going to use cash in 10 years.
And 6 in 10 Americans say convenience is key to spending. The U.S. Treasury oversees both the Bureau of Engraving and Printing, responsible for paper notes, and the U.S. Mint, where coins are made. The 2023 budget to produce paper bills is $931.4 million. About 28% of that goes to paper, ink, and labor, while 63% goes to manufacturing overhead, general support, research, and engraving.
They doing the same thing. Look at this. The cost to produce money is not the actual money itself. The cost to produce money is mostly based off of labor and then research and engraving. Paper, ink, labor, 25%, manufacturing, overhead, research and engraving is 63%. The cost of money has nothing to do with the paper that is printed on. It has everything to do with our belief in it, but it's also associated with the cost to be able to produce it, the effort that it takes to be able to produce it, and also prevent people from being able to scam from it. So that's what also gives it its value.
Overhead, general support, research, and engraving. The Fed says U.S. bills are made to last with a 25% linen, 75% cotton blend, and that it takes 4,000 double folds before a banknote will tear. But many countries have moved their lower currency denominations to coins to help with longevity.
A metal dollar will last about 30 years in circulation. How many of us have gone to a vending machine and tried to use a dollar bill and had to feed it in 5 or 6 times? You don't need to do that with a coin.
The rest of the world makes coins usually for $1 to $2. It's hard to find a paper note below $5 American in most developed countries.
Japan's 500 yen coin is equivalent to about 3.5 US dollars, and Australia and Europe use 1 and 2 coins in place of notes. But the US has tried switching to coins before.
In the 1920s, the Treasury reintroduced the $1 silver dollar and the $2 bill because it'll save money. $1 coins last a long time. $2 bills, you only have to print half as many as the ones. It didn't go over at all. Then they tried it in the 1960s under the Kennedy administration. People didn't want $1 coins and twos except to save as a souvenir. People have thought about reviving the 500 and cut the production by 5, save money. Nobody's gone for it.
The Fed also says transitioning to coins is inefficient and costly.
The argument for the $1 coin, it was cheaper over the long run. But over time, there were upgrades, various additives and varnishes. So now the $1 bill, I think, has a life close to 6 years.
And why has every other country done it? Why has Canada done it? Why has England done it? Why has all of Europe done it? Why has Japan done it?
Australia, the UK, and other countries have also moved from paper to polymer notes.
Since 1988, when Australia issued the first polymer notes, they've become very popular in the rest of the world.
For not going to polymer, a linen cotton note has a certain feel to it. Since this is a global currency, someone inside or outside of the U.S. may not realize if this is a counterfeit or not.
Some experts claim that the Fed's choice to print paper notes is a waste of money, fueled by special interests.
Vendors hire lobbyists to make sure that the mint buys the same type of alloy for their coins, or in the case of paper, it's a major part of their production. If they lose that production, they lose jobs. As an organization, they lose power.
I hate the fact that everything is incentivized except special interests. Oh my God, they're going to lose jobs over here. Oh my God. Oh, this person, he's the paper manufacturer, and I know the paper manufacturer, or I know the CEO of the paper manufacturer. We got to make sure that he's taken care of. This is how politics become corrupt. It's because they're not doing the thing that's in the best interest of the people. They looking out for the people that they like and how it's going to suit their interests that goes along. I don't even like the fact that people have lobbyists. I don't like lobbyists. I don't like the fact that people are incentivizing and campaign contributions and packs and all of this stuff. It just muddies the water, and that's where corruption comes in, because anytime that you start introducing special interests into something, it then makes it more corrupt. Let me move forward a little bit.
Modernizing cash is not easy.
Banknotes are extremely complex instruments. And then there's buried deep inside the note various tags.
And innovation is changing the way we use cash.
Those technological advances are what's really going to influence people's lives for the better.
Making cash something that can carry value electronically, connecting notes to the blockchain.
The Shiba dog.
Many businesses support electronic and cash options, plus innovative ways to bridge the gap.
If you still transact in cash, but you need to buy or want to buy something online, get a QR code. There's a variety of stores that will do this. Scan the QR code, pay in cash, and they release your merchandise.
No, I ain't doing all of that. What are you talking about? You crazy? See, it's not. This is where user experience comes in, and this user experience is everything. It's not just the application, it's the ATMs that you use, it's the way you pay. Businesses are accepting all forms because they need to be able to survive, and so they'll take the money any way that they can get it. It's in their best interest to accept whatever it is. So when you see a business make an adjustment, whether they say that, hey, we a cashless business, it's because they want to make sure that they keep more money in their pocket because they know their employees, they want to prevent their employees from stealing. If they say that we accept all forms of payment, it's because they want to make sure that they make as much money as possible because they don't want to turn any customers away, right? Everything business related is incentivized in order to make sure that you add money into the business. It's not that they're just embracing it. It's that they're adapting with the times to make sure that they can make as much money possible.
Your electric bill comes, you can go to a Walgreens and pay that bill with cash.
And cash is cheaper. I got my haircut today, $22, but they had a 4% surcharge if I used a card.
There are a lot of people that use cash because they don't want to spend money they don't have.
New York City and Philadelphia are even requiring businesses to accept cash.
Legislation being passed that cash must be available and that you cannot have a purely cashless store.
However, with the exception of changes to state law, the Fed says businesses are free to determine what method of payment to accept.
To access digital mechanisms would need to be ubiquitous, either through a...
I don't think that we're getting away from cash anytime soon. I know a lot of people say that we're going over into a cashless society, but it's too many people that have a interest in keeping it the way that it is for us to move that way. Plus, you got rappers that always had a money phone, right? How we gonna do a money phone with a cashless society? How you gonna do a money phone? How the strippers gonna strip in the strip club if you not throwing ones in the strip club? I think that it's too many industries that make money and it's getting too lucrative for people to be able to do so. How you gonna throw money in the club with a cashless society? You can't. I believe that cash is going to be around for a long time. I don't think that we're getting away from it in my lifetime personally. Because the federal government is incentivized to do so, but they can't do it without the adoption of the people or the embracing of the people. And it's too many industries that's interdependent on it in order for them to be successful. Is this the truth? Give her a card reader for her waist belt. Most dudes that's in the strip club don't even want people to know that they're in the strip club in the first place. So why would they want an electronic footprint as to where they went? You know what I'm saying? We're going to get there. Let me read a couple of super chats and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. Life to Live for Network is in the building. Says, hey, that's why when you talk to when can't let them make excuses, have to make them accountable. Shout out to my dog, Life to Live for Network. I appreciate you, big dog. And then AL is in the building. Shout out to AL. AL says, question, in NYC, would you rather get half a million cash or get a free 2-bedroom apartment in any part of NYC that you choose for the rest of your life? Okay, so let me read that one more time. In NYC, would you rather get $500,000 cash or get a free 2-bedroom apartment in any part of NYC that you choose for the rest of your life? I'll probably take the NYC apartment. Me personally, now I would suggest most other people take cash, because most people don't have a reason to where they need an NYC apartment, a 2-bedroom NYC apartment for the rest of your life. I'm taking the NYC apartment. I think that most other people should take the $500,000 cash. I don't have no reason. I don't have no need for it. I can figure out 1,000 different ways to make money from that. I can figure out 1,000 different ways in which I'm going to save money from that. Man, I can finesse that apartment all day long. I can finesse that. It's free. Man, listen. I kill on that. I can get my money back from that within within 5 years. So I think it just depends on what state that you're in. I think that it depends on what state you can sublet it out. You can lease it. You can Airbnb. Well, you can't Airbnb it in New York anymore. You can possibly Airbnb it in New York. Depends on whether or not you get a license to do so. You can live there and save a bunch of money every single month or every single year, depending on what the market rate is, and then you can basically extrapolate that all out into how much money that you actually making. You know, it's so many different ways that you can mine that out. But I think it just depends on where you at. I don't need cash right now. So for me, I need to get rid of cash. I don't need to make cash. My goal is to get rid of the money, not necessarily keep it. Because, well, if you know, you know. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. That's a phenomenal question, Aaron. Thank you, my friend. Jay Ben says, just hit the shake joint in your Umar voice and bless the Cash App. Peace and twerkinism. Yeah. Listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for making this show enjoyable for me to be able to do on a daily basis. You guys are awesome. Tomorrow is Thursday, which is Friday Eve. Back at it, but make sure you tap into the Anton Daniels channel tonight at roughly 9:45, 10 p.m. Eastern. We're going to get it popping. I'm going to stay on for about an hour or two, and we're going to make sure that we run it up, all right? Listen, I love you, appreciate you. I need you to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, big dog. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. We are doing it on the 26th of November. The 26th of November is when we will be doing a live stream, and more details to come inside of the Patreon. Is when we will be doing a live stream for Invest in Your Business. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Share this with your family and friends. Well, I'm out of here. Peace.